Bear Fam, it's Wednesday. Don't have to pick Ellie up from school today because her dad picks her up for her lifeguard course. So, out for a walk with the boys. Beautiful again. I thought the weekend was it, but I'm clearly... Oh, hang on. Let's try again. I'm not sure how I managed to turn the camera off. I'm really down in the dumps today, Bear Fam. I feel like bursting out in tears and just stamping my feet like a toddler and throwing my toys out of the pram. I'm very sad. And bizarrely, for once, I don't quite know why. Well, I know why, but I'm not sure how it happened. The thing that's made me sad. But I can't help but reflect that I'm totally and utterly incapable of having friends. I just don't have whatever it is you need to build friendship and to keep it going. I don't have it. I'm useless. I don't do the right things. I clearly don't say the right things. I guess I'm not clingy enough, as in, I don't mean, but I'm quite happy with my own company, so I don't hook up with people as much as perhaps I should. But it's got to be beyond that. It's got to be something missing from my childhood, something that I did or didn't do, or, you know, up until primary school, I seem to remember I had a reasonable bunch of friends, and I was looking forward to going to secondary school with them all, but then my dad got a move job wise and I was lumped to a new area and put in a secondary school there. I guess it wasn't so bad because you always have different schools coming into a secondary school, but this was a small Somerset town and everybody knew everybody. I had some good friends, but I've never been particularly adept at being a girly girl sort of friend. I've never had whatever you need to make friends with girls. I've often put it down to the fact that I didn't get on with my mum. And that I don't trust females. Could be that. I sometimes used to have in past, tied up with a lead. I have in the past put it down to, my arm's aching. I lost my train of thought. Put it down to being an only child. I've put it down to the fact that I worked with men for many years. Very rarely were you allowed to crew with another female. So, most of my adult life was male banter, the male way of getting on with things. I can do that. I can do that really well. I can't do female. Female to female fails time and again. I just don't have it. Whatever it takes, I don't have it. And it makes me sad. And it makes me feel useless. And it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me. It's not going to change at 50, is it? It's daft, isn't it? Because I don't really want... It's ironic, I can't grasp the mentality of it or the psychology of it. I just can't wrap my head around. I don't really want to be with lots of people, but I'd like to have a few people I could trust, I guess. And every time I put my trust in somebody, it seems to come back with a no thanks sign. And I'm not talking once or twice, people. I'm talking time and time again over my adult life, I've thought I've made a friend, and then it becomes very clear that you haven't. I just, and it every time it happens, it makes me feel like the dumb kid in the corner with a dunce hat on, the one that nobody would pick for PE. The weird person that nobody gets, nobody wants to get. I'm struggling today, I really am. I think maybe part of the problem is that I can smell a lie like a fart in a lift. People will try and tell you, maybe partially that, maybe it's a group of things, but if somebody says, oh, I can't do such and such because of such and such, I know they're lying. If they're lying, I know it without, I just, you don't spend your whole adult life in a role which primarily is detecting lies and proving that somebody's lying, and then not be able to tell if somebody's telling a real feeble lie. It's blatantly obvious, and it strips away trust. It makes you doubt somebody. I feel like I've been punched in the guts today, I have to say. Maybe when I get home I will have just a big boo-hoo session, and then I can put it to bed. But just for now, I do feel like that useless child, that only child whose mum really let go out. Maybe it was that. My mum, Ellie's got quite a bit of freedom. She's got friends, they come and go. My mum wouldn't let that happen. I was kept on a very tight leash. Even when I left and joined the cops, I told you, she was still trying or thinking she could control my life. And that's how we came to blows. But nobody wants me. Not friends, not family, nobody. There's got to be something significantly wrong with my makeup. Not slap, because I haven't got any on today, but the way I'm engineered. Whatever I say, whatever I do, it must pee people off. I mean, there are reasons. I know why I've sort of fallen out with my mum and dad, but I can't think of something Baby Bear could do that would make me not want to be in her life. Even murder. I can't think of anything. I love her so unconditionally to the ends of the universe. So when people reject you, well, when family, let's talk about family first. When family rejects you, I can't think, how bad I must be for my own mother and now my own father not to want to be in my life or Baby Bear's life. And then I managed to push everybody away. I'm not saying it's all everybody else's fault, because clearly it's not. I'm saying it's clearly my fault. I don't do it deliberately. Most cases I've just been trying to stick up for myself, or trying to tell my truth or tell my side to somebody. And, I've never done something horrific. I've never robbed a bank. I've never hurt an animal. I've never... And yet I feel like the dregs. I feel like I must be part of the dregs of society. I can't be anything much. For people to not want to be my friend. I just feel, I'm sure tomorrow will be better, but for today I just feel lonely, isolated, and now there's somebody come in that I don't want to see them see me crying. I used to watch colleagues, female colleagues in the office at work when I worked, and another woman would come in and almost instantly there'd be like a bond, and they'd chit chat away, and then they'd exchange numbers, and then they'd say, oh, yeah, and it was all like so simple. Nobody did or said anything like magic, and yet I can't do it. I've never been able to do it. In fact, if anything, I seem to repel females. I'm just, I don't know, I'm missing something. When Lenley was little and we'd go on school trips, I tried chatting to other mums and making friends, and a couple of times I did start seeing people, or as in getting together for play dates, but they never lasted very long, and fairly quickly I can't keep friends. Can't do it. I'm defective. I can't, it's something I've never really said out loud, I don't think. I've alluded to it. But, I don't know what I do that's wrong. I don't know what I say that's wrong. I am clueless, people. Clueless. And I feel awkward. I just can't do it. So, that's me for today. Feeling useless. Feeling unwanted, unloved. Feeling it's pretty pointless me being around other than for Baby Bear. To be honest with you. Baby Bear and the boys, and that's about it. Oh no, Baby Bear, boys and Bear Fam. That's about it. There's nothing else for me. That's how I feel today. I'm sure it'll be better tomorrow, but right now, depression and anxiety in full fecking swing. The trouble is, the more often it happens, the more likely it is to happen. Because I thought I'd withdrawn from the world as much as I could, but when something else happens, I just want to pack up and go and live on the most remote hill in the middle of nowhere, so that I don't have to feel the pain of not fitting. It's hard to explain, it really is. Somebody else coming. I'll pick this up though. I rack my brains, I really do. Am I evil? Don't think so. I've made a reasonable contribution to society. I'm not rude to people. I've got a cheeky sense of humour, which some women don't like. It's more of a male sense of humour, I guess. I can sniff a lie out. like a fart in a lift, as I said. I do like to people watch and like pass comments. It's what you do in patrol cars. It's the way you sort of identify somebody that you think might be dodgy, really, by bouncing off one another and look at that. And so I have been told, one woman when Ellie was little said that I was too judgmental, so I'll take that one on the chin. Come on, Jack, we're not going that way. I love my dogs. I love my daughter. Do anything for my daughter. Just can't keep a friend. Drive everybody away. And if I knew what I did, I would try and address it. But then what happens is when people either tell a fib or try and, say, oh, like one friend, I was teasing her. She'd managed to puree a whole kiwi and give it to her daughter, and then her daughter was getting the hair stuck in the back of her throat, and she hadn't realised you had to take the thing off. So yes, I teased her for that. She got cross that I was teasing her. And I used to not tease, but have a bit of a dig, I guess, because she never seemed to realise how skint I was, and she was quite wealthy, and she kept saying, oh, let's do this or let's do that, and every time I'd say, well, look, no, I don't have the money, I can't. She never seemed to get it. It didn't seem to sink in. So, a couple of times I did say, well, we haven't all got a pack of money, or we all haven't got. I did have a bit of a dig, I guess, but I thought we knew each other well enough. But we fell out over that. She told me that the social media was, it was during the summer last year when I was getting quite a few followers through that thing that went on. And she told me that I preferred my virtual friends and my virtual world to reality. Man coming, looking at me thinking I'm a nutter. So that was that one. I could go on at infinitum. The amount of people that have come close and then run off in the opposite direction. Like, too many people. I guess one just has to accept that I'm a reject. Nothing's going to change now. There's a zit on the end of my nose, like a blinking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Can't change who I am now. It doesn't stop it hurting. It doesn't stop every time it happens that you think that everybody cares, the world cares enough that if you tell them all to foxtrot Oscar. Sorry, just bring out the light right so the sky shows up in the background. Oh well. You feel like like I said earlier, burying yourself somewhere as far away from anybody as possible so that you can't feel the hurt ever again. And it's like you want to almost like, nah, but who's going to care? Nobody cares anyway. That's the whole problem in the first place. So it's a stupid situation. And I don't know. I guess my gravestone will contain nobody liked her. Dash a loner. Do you know what? Ellie must be thinking of bumping me off or the time when I'm gone, because she said to me last night very randomly, no, it wasn't random, we were actually talking about my police number, tangled up in a bramble, my police number and whether it's going to be reissued. And I said, we were having a conversation about that anyway. She said, and I was explaining how numbers become very relevant, how they belong to people, and certain numbers become people, like names, because you call people by the number so frequently, over the radio, to other members of the public. Can you go that way, please, darling? Members of the public, in written reports. So, people's numbers. In fact, I was watching a conversation today on the ex-police officer Facebook site that I'm part of. And all the people that had retired were all desperately asking people that were still with access to the stuff whether their numbers had been reissued. So anyway, we were talking about that. She said, do you want your number on your on your gravestone? I was like, yeah. It's a weird conversation. But anyway, I really should sort all that stuff out, but it seems so morbid. But I guess I should. Anyway, I don't want to slip down this hill. I'm sorry today's been a bit bleh. I always share my feelings with you, Bear Fam. I've tried to be careful not to name anybody today. I did have a bit of a rant the other day. But sometimes when you're cross or hurt, things just out your mouth, don't they? Anyway, I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you for listening to me whinge on. Answers on a postcard to the question, i.e. what's wrong with me, to the Wilkes family, PO Box 9360, Weymouth, DT4. Can't remember the last bit. 9HE? Something like that. Anyway, take care of yourselves and I'll catch you on the morrow.